Ukrainian units maintain heavy fire and hold their positions in the forested area. Unable to advance further, the enemy employs the UR-77 Meteorite mine-clearing engineering vehicle, which has a high destructive capability.
Сейчас громко будет.
Taking cover in shelters, the Ukrainians absorb the strike and almost immediately prepare a response. The drone is already ready for action. The unmanned drone heads toward the area of the enemy's likely location. Pushing through the dense forest, the operator finds the desired target and delivers a strike. After the detonation of the Russian scrap metal, the fire spreads to the trees, and the forest begins to burn. The protected forest that only recently breathed with life has been turned by the Russians into a charred wasteland. Where birds once sang, there are now only the skeletons of trees, craters, and dead silence. And on the outskirts, where some trees have survived, they are draped in fiber optic cable, like a dense, unnatural web. The tree roots further complicate both digging and moving through the trenches, which are already difficult to carve out in the loose, sandy soil that constantly collapses. In such conditions, the only real ally is the fog or the cover of night. The Ukrainians choose the darkness, and it is under its protection that they prepare for the assault. While the group moves toward the landing point, Ukrainian drone operators prepare to launch the heavy bomber known as Baba Yaga. They bring and attach 120mm mines to it. The drone approaches the positions, and its munitions begin to wake the Russians, sending some of them into their final nightmare. As the Ukrainian assault group closes in on the landing point, the operators work without a single pause, precise and coordinated. The Russians take cover, riding out the strikes, while simultaneously reporting to their command. After assessing the situation, it decides to deploy the nearest multiple launch rocket system to respond.
5 баллов, все отлично, скоро выдвигаемся.
Восток 100, прицел 508, остаток.
The shells fall, saturating the designated grid, but the coordinates turn out to be inaccurate. The impact area is far smaller than the overall forest, and the Ukrainian drone operators' positions are located much deeper inside.
Быстро приближается, быстро едет.
The landing vehicle is nearly at the point when the enemy reconnaissance drone spots its movement. Immediately, the Russian kamikaze drone operators spring into action.
Да, вижу.
Он едет.
Видел. Братуха, подпилено. Брат, как слышишь?
Вы заняли все укрытие?
Заняли укрытие. Сейчас проверяю, чтобы все были целы.
The vehicle is disabled, but the crew survives. After a brief pause to catch their breath and gather their thoughts, they get back to work. The battle begins. The group advances confidently, showering the positions with grenades.
У мене чисто.
Reaching the first fortified dugout, they take it under full control. The Russians inside are unable to do anything. The dense Ukrainian fire suppresses any attempt at resistance.
Граната своя!
Плюс один. Давай, быстрее. Готовьтесь на гранату! Впереди, вперед!
The Russian command, observing the battlefield from the air, ignores the real situation and orders no retreat, only forward.
Гранаты, гранаты! Гранаты!
Чуть выше просто сделай. Граната раз, хорошо.
One of the grenades explodes very close to the Ukrainians. The Russians do not engage in direct fire, and their comrades in the dugout remain trapped.
Еще одну гранату достану.
Я тоже. Есть винтаж налево.
Another grenade follows. Then, an ammunition explosion.
Тримай ще. БК.
The Ukrainians momentarily pull back. One of the Russian soldiers miraculously survives and tries to escape, but every movement is under watch. His attempt to break through ends in failure. The sun rises steadily higher, just like the Ukrainian advance.
Все, плюс. Зелений.
One of the enemies is neutralized, but this is no reason to relax. The group advances cautiously and, in the same dugout, encounters another Russian soldier. He is in critical condition, disoriented, wounded, and not fully aware of what is happening around him.
Контроль прямо.
Идите нахуй свой, езжай. Есть, заебашили. Минус, красава. Контроль прямо.
Прямо ты налево, Пап, налево, ты продюсер прямо.
Продюсер прямо переводь.
Фонарик есть?
Хорош.
Everything is going according to plan. The dugout is burning and the advance continues. At the same time, credit must be given to the Russian defensive positions. They are dense and well prepared, but even they have no amulet to protect them from the element of surprise. One of the key stages of this operation is behind them, but ahead lies another critical point. Right now, the initiative once again hangs by a thread. The Russians, realizing the loss of their positions, launch FPV drones, attempting to halt the advance and impose their own battle scenario. The fighters spot one of them overhead and manage to shoot it down in time. The drone crashes nearby and detonates.
Відходи, контролю!
Хорошо.
Проходимо, давай! Дуже важко.
The fighters continue forward and come across another so-called hole. Without hesitation, a grenade is thrown inside.
Сховайся. Туди їх.
Command observes everything from above, helping to coordinate the unit's movement and coordination.
Давай, давай.
Обережно, спустила. Ой!
Проходь.
Розвилка наліво.
Пробуй.
The pace is high, coordination is precise. Step by step, they clear the shelters and push forward without stopping. The forest is engulfed in flames. Smoke drifts between the trees. Ammunition detonates. And this chaos quickly rolls toward the Russian positions ahead.
Форт, мінус пока!
Форт пока мінус!
Panic spreads. Part of the enemy breaks from their positions and attempts to pull back. This is immediately detected at the command post. The coordinates are passed to the artillery, and moments later, the gun opens fire.
Плюс прийняв.
Ногу, сука!
The Ukrainians continue their fierce fight, and the enemy dugout burns. Ahead lies another point, covered in black tarpaulin, behind which danger may be lurking.
Крий. Я прокидав гранату, да. Продовжуємо рух, коп чистий. Все, жди. Слідчий. Щас, давай. Тримай.
Meanwhile, part of the Russians has retreated and temporarily taken up new positions. The storm of fire approaches and panic begins to spread among the group.
Я не вижу. Не, я не вижу.
The Ukrainians were well prepared and brought a substantial supply of ammunition. Rounds of various calibers and grenades of different power fly toward the Russians, further undermining their morale.
Куда въеб? По нашему. Да ну нахуй, там по нашему ебали. Вон. Да. Блин. На Сибирь выйди, что там? Видишь? Нет.
The Russians try to return fire, but the Ukrainians advance through the trench, clearing dugouts. The enemy cannot get them in their sights. yet they hear the relentless work of the unit steadily closing in.
Да где вы?
As the Ukrainians regroup, reload their weapons, and prepare to assault the next dugout, the fire briefly subsides.
Тоже блиндаж.
О, да это ж полез блиндаж.
A few Russians take advantage of the pause and break through to their comrades.
Это наши.
Так, черный, скажи полосатым, чтобы готовили машину на эвакуацию, блядь.
They establish contact with their command and request evacuation. At the command post, the coordinates are recorded and vehicles are dispatched. The vehicle is on its way, and in the meantime, the fighting regains its intensity.
Граната, надо гранат.
Да, все принял. Беру левого. Как принял.
The vehicle arrives, and the Russians quickly leave the combat zone. They think they are already safe, but as they approach the nearest village, that illusion is shattered by a kamikaze drone. While the drones target the survivors, the assault in the forest continues. This young man is right. He and his comrades are still very young. At their age, people usually start families, build cozy homes, plan for the future, travel, and explore the world. But that happens in another reality, one where Russia did not attack Ukraine, and they did not have to spend the best years of their lives, which could be cut short at any moment, fighting for freedom.
Там БК детонує. Відходимо.
Справа чистий.
Контролю прямо.
Прямо.
Група стоп. Розтягуємося. В лівому флангу кулемет.
Another part of the Russian group, left to fend for itself, breaks out to the edge of the forest and attempts to escape through a ravine.
Все, пацаны, взлетаем. Дрон включил.
The terrain is open. They quickly become easy prey for kamikaze drones. They manage to shoot down one of them. Another explodes right nearby. Realizing the futility of escape, they decide to turn back. They briefly take cover, hoping to wait it out, but the drone precisely tracks their position.
Хижак, вы выдвинулись.
Плюс принял.
A group of Ukrainian soldiers receives orders to advance and neutralize the enemy. They cautiously make their presence known nearby. Understanding there is no way out, they lay down their weapons and surrender. Everything goes calmly. The Ukrainians control them from different sides, making no unnecessary moves, only watching every step. The Russians understand that any careless action could be fatal, so they comply, staying alive. In the end, 7 soldiers of the Russian Federation played their own roulette of war, And this time, they were lucky enough to survive. But they will never forget this moment when their lives hung by a thread. Having completed the mission, part of the Ukrainian soldiers hold their positions while the rest regroup at the evacuation point, exhausted but alive. The forest around them is silent, and this time, that silence means they made it.